Bow. What's going on, my fellow Bitcoiners? Happy Monday. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Welcome back to the Gentlemen of Crypto episode 35. It is episode 35. I'm your host, King. Again, my co-host, Bitcoin Zay, is all the way back over in North Carolina. We've been tag teaming, going off each day, so you should see him tomorrow. But it's coming off a great weekend. What's going on, Decentralized? Just the person I wanted to see log in too. It's you guys had some issues with that wallet last week, huh? It's a lot of unhappy people out there. What's going on? Of course, we always give away the free Bitcoin every day. We're bridging as Bitcoin Zay would say, bridging crypto in the community. So that's our way to bridge community. What's going on, Antonio? And for the free Bitcoin Friday, winner was Camel Hen. Again, I asked, your thoughts on B2X and Node 2X and what's going to happen moving forward. And they said for Segwit 2X, they believe it will be successful, at least in the short term, because they're saying, so much big money that's backing it, and they expected it to pump like Bitcoin Cash coming out the gate, possibly reaching over $1,000 before it levels out to around 700. I think that's a good assessment. You said the exchanges all had an issue on the same block and got unsynced. It took 2 days to fix it because they are stubborn. All right, Decentralized. Hey, check back in your crowd. What's going on, Ted Work? Those some unhappy people, man. I tell you, I hear everything. I get messages from everybody. But yeah. So Camel Hen, I think he's right on those tracks to B2X. That's what we're tracking as well. Of course, we are no 2X. We're all about just keeping Bitcoin as Bitcoin right now. And you said it's just now went live. Okay, good. It just went live on Hitbit. Okay, good stuff. We're tracking the same as we did Bitcoin Cash as well, especially from an investment point of view, but also just as seeing the technology and what's going to happen. We do believe while we're not going with the 2X side of things, we do believe they do have the big money behind it. They do have the corporate and institutions behind it, even though some people are reneging on those signatories that signed the New York agreement. While some people are reneging, they still have a lot of big money behind. They still want to make a show. You talk about Jeff Garza. Once again, he's going more. I know no replay protection, Ted. I know what you mean. For those who don't know what replay protection is, the most basic way I can explain it is basically whenever new coins are made or forked, whether they're soft or hard forked off of the blockchain, when you get like Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Cash and all that. Crypto Q now is going on. Whenever somebody alters the regular Bitcoin blockchain, wants to make their own, they're expected, the new coin that's branching out is expected to add replay protection. What's going on, Bitcoin Vegan? What replay protection basically does is not necessarily a double spin, but it eliminates a double spin, because what happens if you don't have replay protection on, and let's say they make Segwit 2X, the next coin that's coming out in November, and you have the old Bitcoin, and I send you money through my Bitcoin address without replay protection, that money from my Segwit address will go to your Segwit address as well. So it's almost like I'm paying you twice for something where I shouldn't. So every new coin is supposed to add replay protection. It's almost like of course it's the Wild West. So it's not like this is in stone, this is the rule, but that's what's kind of understood. That's one of those things where it's like, it's a common courtesy practice to take part in, because you're the new coin, you're doing a new thing. Make it so that people aren't accidentally double spending since you're branching off. They decided not to do that. Now, I won't go too in depth, but one of the reasons why they decided not to do it, or one of the theories around the reason why they didn't do it, is because they want people to have to choose. If they would have added replay protection, then people definitely would have, a lot of people wouldn't even mess with Segwit 2X that's coming out. But since they didn't add it, now they're making people really choose, okay, which one's going to be the real Bitcoin? And we all know the one that's here now. But they're going to make users and exchanges make that choice since they didn't take that off. So it's all types of, it's all types of negative connotations with that. But we'll leave that there. But as far as the pricing go, I do see the pricing operating the same way, only because Jeff Garza is a big enough name, the same as Roger Ver, who did have some institutional backers, who does have money behind them. So the last thing they want is to embarrass themselves and see that price fall flat to zero, or go down very low. So I do think they're definitely going to pump it, and they're going to push it up as well. Like Camel Hen said, who just won, I think it'll go past $1,000 before it does level out and correct to around 700, 600 possibly even $800 range. I saw some people, some mumbles that people are saying they think it's going to come out and be worth the same amount as Bitcoin, since it's supposed to be the same thing. Highly doubt it does that, but if it does do that, then we're all going to be in Lambos next week. So we'll see what happens, or excuse me, the week after. So we'll see what happens. But again, keep your eye on it. Try to get yourself informed about SegWit 2x, no 2x. There's a website. I can't remember who passed it to me last week. I don't want to say your name wrong, but there was a website that a guy thoroughly explained. So it was actually pretty good. But with the exception of that, was happy Monday, Bitcoiners. It hit another all-time high this weekend. We hit $6,300 yesterday. Actually, $6,306 and some change. People, what an increase in Bitcoin this year. We started off the year barely breaking $1,000, and before we retraced back to about 800 or 900 again. Even then, people were selling everything and taking their gains and getting out of here after the last 2 years have been pretty slow. And for those who stayed in, they're being rewarded. Once again, we talked about this last week. For those who just bought in 3 weeks ago, they might have bought in at the $3,000 mark, $4,000 mark when it was going through all the Jamie Dinosaur Diamond comments and up and down. And they were worried. I mean, we literally, myself and Bitcoin Zay, literally had people coming up to us after they bought it at maybe 3,500, 4,000 and went back down to 2,900. They was like, should we just sell and get out of here? And we were like, no, stay in it. Hey, thanks, Benjamin Judah, appreciate it. And we were like, no, stay in it, stay in it, stay in it. And literally 3 weeks later, some of those people have come close to doubling their money. So Antonio asks, do you think we're going to see 7K? Crypto Q Jamal J can be here today. He's accepting the keys to Queens. Oh, nice. Tell him Jamal J, congratulations. But Antonio asks, you think we can hit 7K before January? Once again, I mean, now it definitely is in the possibility because it's only, we're coming toward the end of October. Again, a lot of people at the beginning of this year, and I was in this crowd, we thought we would be hitting 5K this year, but toward the end of this year and maintain that. Again, when I say hit a number, I don't mean just how this weekend at 6,300 was, we hit it and we go right back. No, I mean like maintaining that number. And a lot of people thought it would be $5,000 that we would maintain, we would get to, we would maintain, and we would see the rest of the year at 5,000. Early part of next year, we would see it at 7,000 before hitting 10K end of next year or middle of next year. I think at this point, though, we can hit 7K before the end of the year. A lot, of course, is going to have to do with SegWit drama. Once that's ironed out, if everything does go in Bitcoin's favor, then I believe we'll really push past it. And even leading up to it, we might see, 64, 65, 6,600 get touched a couple times leading up to it is the last 2 weeks because people do want to buy in now because if you're getting that 1-for-1 deal, and as we just said, I'm thinking the 2X coin could possibly go up to $1,000, $1,200, $1,300. There's some people saying it's going to be equal to a Bitcoin. Whatever it is, people are placing some value on the SegWit coins. Doesn't mean they're going with it. They're adopting it, but they're placing value in it as far as a trader and investor. So because of that, people are going to keep buying Bitcoin these next 10 days. The price will continue to increase. Some alts will continue to die out. Some will continue to get pumped as was happening. I think Bitbean and Rarecoin pumped this this weekend, as well as right now I'm seeing Burst getting pumped on some of the channels. So a lot of those far off coins are getting pumped and everything. But that's because of the volatility. But people are definitely going to keep buying Bitcoin. So I think we can see that 7K mark get hit shortly after SegWit if everything goes in favor of Bitcoin. So we'll see. What else is going on? Oh, good story. It was not like the top story or anything, but it's something I definitely want to hone in on because we always talk about educating yourselves. If you have kids or nephews or nieces, younger people, or even you, if you have some free time and you want to change your career, come to the crypto space. An article came out today that said basically companies are desperately seeking developers and there's a talent shortage. This is something we talked about last month, and I want to harp in on it because a lot of people do have economical stress in their life. A lot of people don't have money. I talked to somebody, we do seminars, people saying, we have this group of people saying an extra $300 a month could change their life or whatever. Well, we are in, I think it's going to be, I think Bitcoin, the fintech industry will become one of the #1 industries, if not the #1 industry in the next 3 to 5 years. I mean, we're already seeing, Bitcoin's market cap exploding. We're seeing cryptocurrency market cap in general exploding. And once again, people, this is without institutional money. This is without institutional money, not just here in the United States. There we go, Crypto Q, learn the code, copy and paste Git in Python. Yep, GitHub is a good one. But we're literally, not only institutional money from the United States hasn't flooded, institutional money from China, institutional money from Russia, institutional money from everywhere hasn't flooded in. And it's something that, I get caught up in the craziness and the madness, and even I forget. With the exception of an auction or a private dealer, there isn't anybody around who has $1 million or $2 million who can say, I'm just going to buy $2, $3 million of Bitcoin. I'm talking about your average investor. And I know for some people, you say $2, $3 million average. Well, yeah, realistically, people, there's some very wealthy people out there, all right? I live in Hollywood, I live in LA. The whole entertainment business, as far as movies and all that's out here. These people aren't investing in Bitcoin yet, and they are multi-millionaires. They would love to, hey, I got $500,000. Let me go ahead and buy some of this stuff. I was going to spend it on a new beach condo or something. So I feel like once all that money starts rolling into it, we're definitely going to see a higher market cap. Of course, it's going to become the #1 industry, and that leads me back to my point of the market as a workforce. I get like little Telegram tips about new crypto jobs are coming out, and I'm telling you, they're unrolling nonstop, people. Every week, there's new crypto jobs. The description is almost the same too, because they know what they're dealing with. The description is, work location. Almost 90% of them says anywhere, remotely. Anywhere you want to on earth, you can work. No matter if you're a developer, a PR person like me, or a business person, whatever. They have, most of these is like, you can work anywhere. So that's already great, but I believe there are some Hollywood actors who have invested in Monero, more private. Oh, I believe it as well. Yeah. But you can work anywhere. But, the biggest thing, that's the reason why there's a developer shortage, is because the developers don't need money. This is something I think a lot of institutional, I'll say institutional, plus, people who are, a little bit older, more experienced, work businesses who are transferring over to this industry, looking to hire developers and coders and all this. And they're like, wait, why can't I find any? The coders are already, the developers are rich people. All right, let's get out. If you're a developer in the crypto space, that means you bought crypto already. You probably brought it like a year, 2, 3, 4 years ago. So they're already rich. A lot of them are already millionaires. I know some developers out here who do very well, and they still work new jobs, but they're like very chill jobs, nonchalant. They're wherever they want to work. They come in and out, all that good stuff. But so there's a shortage, people. So once again, if you have kids or if you want to change your career or anything, start developing, start learning how to code. You can have a job in the crypto space in another year or two, making a ton of money and being in high demand. So it's something I definitely look at. I believe when we first talked about this like a month or so ago, we wwere saying there's only like 18 or 1,900 jobs in it. Decentralized or just network. That's true too. I'm a billionaire in Zimbabwe. Yep, crypto's all networking at the moment. You're right. Crypto is all networking, but I just mean for something sustainable long term. But yeah, so people look into the crypto space. If you're not working in this space, it's fine, but I hope you're doing well already. If not, and then, start making that game plan. All right, is this something I might want to do in the next year or 2 years? Because it is still very early. It is very early, and a lot of people don't know what they're doing. Once again, we look at the liquidations of the whales. A huge short just got liquidated the other day. I think, I believe everybody had to see this. It had to be like, I think $28 million was liquidated from a short. Again, if you don't know what a short is, that means somebody bet against Bitcoin, the price increasing. They bet that the price would decrease. And somebody put like 28 million up on it, and they lost it. So if you just look at the shorts and the people who go long and lose money, all the liquidations that happen every day, there's a lot of people who don't know what they're doing with a lot of money. Yep, so Google, lynda.com, edX, Corsair. Corsair has the old Princeton course on it as well, which I hear is pretty good. I think Bitcoin Zay did that. So yeah, there's plenty of places to get like literally free information. You can teach yourself how to develop a code. In the crypto community, you don't need, there aren't any background checks. There aren't any drug tests. There aren't any X, Y, Z. There's no excuse for you not to insert yourself in this community. What there is, though, is that social credit. If you're a dirtbag, people will find out and put you out there. But other than that, there's nothing that's stopping you from doing another career, a second career, in your spare time, working 4 hours a night doing this, 5 hours a night, learning to code, develop, or network, as Decentralized said. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. So that's my piece. I just want to throw it out there. Back to the news cycle though. It's a lot going on internationally, people. First of all, of course, China. You know, you have BTC China, OK Coin. Everybody was supposed to be disappearing November 1st. It's coming up in a couple of days, which is why, you know, one of the reasons why we initially saw the price drop. There's a lot of new people in, there's a lot of weak hands in. They heard China was getting out of the market. They got out too. Just from seeing our videos, I'm sure everybody's been around enough now to see the cycle of China. What website is it? Everybody's starting to see the cycle of China, how they come in and, you know, the price rises and they threaten to leave, then they leave and they come back. They do this throughout the year. Well, now it looks like some of these same exchanges that are shutting down in China are looking at going the peer-to-peer route starting November 1st. And some, I think it was like, was it OK Coin or something? I'm not sure where it was. I think it was OK Coin or something, but somebody put on their, you know, one of these companies put on their Twitter, like, you know, like, don't worry, more to come. And they had like an ominous message that was saying, like, don't worry, we got a secondary plan here. Because again, the way I like to think of it is all these things are businesses, people. Are they exchanges? They have regulations, yes. At the end of the day, they're businesses. Now, there are some businesses that, you know, will shut down, take their money and run. But in an industry like this, I don't see it happening, especially now that, you know, you talk about OK Coin, BTC China, Hubie, and some of the other ones who literally have their infrastructure already set up. They have people hired. They have everything in this industry ready to go. I don't see them stopping or slowing down. So one of the messages said this week, saw rumors that Chinese investors may be able to use Hubie. Am I pronouncing that wrong? You know I'm terrible at pronunciations. Hubie and OK Coin's international sister platforms in the future when they launch peer-to-peer Bitcoin to fiat trading. And that's being implied again. And they said interim measure has seen Chinese traders return en masse to peer-to-peer platforms, principally local Bitcoins, which has ballooned for the second time this year. Here's my thing with peer-to-peer trading. I think that's always going to be around at this point now because it's a way to get in and get out. Of course, for the people who do peer-to-peer trading, you know, be careful. Make sure you have your licenses if you need it. You know, once again, I'm not for the regulations, but I'm not trying to see any of you all. Yep, China's still using over-the-counter to buy. I don't want to see anybody go to jail or prison, even worse in some of these countries. But the bottom line is, here's a problem, you know, not only with the over-regulation, but pushing people to the peer-to-peer platform. While they do work, you know, they work, especially with local Bitcoins as the voting system on it. The issue that I'm having is you're still trying to trade money. It's almost like a backroom transaction with money in the crypto. And that's where a lot of scams happen at. So they're saying they're regulating this and they're doing all this for the customer, for you, for the citizen. But at the end of the day, pushing people toward peer-to-peer platforms to me is a worse bet because you really don't know where you're getting in. I've talked about it, and we've even seen some of the more sophisticated scams that are running rife through the industry right now. And, you know, just, you know, now you have to let your mind take it away as far as what could be the worst that could happen. And honestly, it's not that hard for somebody to build up a fake local Bitcoin's profile and get some upvotes. I mean, you're talking about a sophisticated scam here. You know, get themselves voted up and their trust voted up a little bit and then start taking people. So peer-to-peer to me has always been, you know, kind of so-so. Just be careful with it. You know, luckily we do have stuff now you can keep in escrow and all that before you clear the crypto or you clear the funds, vice versa. So just be careful with the peer-to-peer. But the bottom line is you can't prohibit it. You know, it's like alcohol back in the day. It's not getting prohibited. People will figure out a way to buy Bitcoin. And going back even further, I remember we were telling people last year when the price was still low, like, because I started seeing it. You know, the first tip I got is I'm going to fork Bitcoin next month, called Bitcoin Diamond. One of the first signs I saw, I remember when Coinbase just, you know, disabled my buys. And there's a few other traders I know that literally, you start trading high volume, you start making some money, they're going to disable those buys real quick. And that was my first red flag to tell people, like, hey, they don't want you buying a lot of crypto. Like, not just Coinbase, anybody, like the government, institutions, like, they're trying to keep the price down. It's like, you have to remember, they're trying to keep the price down right now, and it's at 63, you know, 6,000, probably 100. I think before I logged on, it's at 60.90, but they're trying to keep the price down until some of these laws are passed where some institutional money can come in. So not only are they trying to keep the price down, they're trying to keep regular people out. And we're seeing it every day. It's happening more and more and more. The price is getting high now. People are getting turned off when they hear the price. Now, you know, at first 500 turned off some people. Now people are like, well, I can't afford a whole Bitcoin. They think they have to buy like that, which they don't. But yeah, just something to think about. You know, it won't be, you know, they can try to prohibit it all they want, but there's always going to be a way to buy it, get your hands on some. What else? Oh, so we have Vietnam and Lebanese as well. Vietnam and Lebanese are the other two. Now the article was written, I think, on like CoinDesk or Cointelegraph. All the information was accurate. You know, I know they try to do a good job getting their articles up quickly, so I'll correct some of it. But basically, it said Vietnam Central Bank. Go figure, a central bank. Vietnam Central Bank, State Bank of Vietnam, has declared the use of digital currencies in the country as illegal. The central bank also announced that it will impose a fine on anyone caught utilizing the cryptocurrency starting in early 2018. So one thing I'm going to correct on that in that article was they didn't say the crypto in general was illegal. They said it was banned as an official payment method. So that's a big difference. I think people really need to key in on, especially some of the editors of these articles. Like I said, no, they try to do a really good job there. But that is a difference. Illegal is just saying you have it, if you use it, that's legal, you get arrested. Official payment is them saying we're not recognizing it as the, you know, the official currency. We don't want to see government contracts being passed around using Bitcoin. So that's my understanding of it. But they said the law also states that the only and see, this was the part they did kind of correct toward the end. The law also only states that the only authorized payment methods in the country are those issued or controlled by the State Bank of Vietnam. Again, go figure. This is Vietnam's central bank talking. Biggest issue I have with this, you know, when we talk about these central banks that are coming out, because Lebanese is next, they did the same thing. Why is your central bank talking for the entire country? That is a private actor. It's a bank. That's it. At this point, some of the exchanges are about to be worth more than the banks in your own country. So this is for the people of all these different countries, including the U.S. You know, definitely not trying to say start an en masse riot or anything, but we have laws as citizens. It's not supposed to be public government, private government, public citizens. It's private citizens, public government. So they're trying to flip that shoe on the other foot, people. And, you know, you have rights as citizens no matter what country you're in. And for them to not only try to ban it, but of course, here's the drum roll for Lebanese. Once again, Lebanese Central Bank, Banque du Liban, Governor Raed Salman has claimed that Bitcoin and other virtual currencies are unregulated commodities whose use should be prohibited. He also stated that digital currencies will be ineffective as national currencies because they are just commodities. So you got the Lebanese Central Bank saying prohibit them. They're unregulated as commodities. They should be prohibited. And they said, let's see, skip all this. Oh, they said, we do understand that electric currency will play a prominent role in the future, but Banque du Liban must first make the necessary arrangements before taking this step and develop a protection system from cybercrime. So again, we're using cybercrime as a reason. But he also said that the plan for the central bank was to introduce its own digital currency. So again, Vietnam and Lebanon, both of their central banks are talking for the entire country. Once again, I don't know why. They don't have a right to do that. But the central bank is speaking for the entire country. They are saying that digital currencies right now will be illegal and they're commodities in the Lebanese example. Well, first of all, if it's, you know, how hard is it to turn a commodity into a currency, people? It's not hard at all. It's the same way they put out these releases that saying we think it's illegal and it's prohibited. All you gotta do is come out and say we accept it as a currency, and boom, there it is. It's a currency. In fact, they don't even need to say that. You just need to go into one of your local store merchants and say, you know what? I don't know what Lebanon's or Vietnam's regular currency is, but all you gotta do is go into a merchant store and say, you know what? I don't have this. I have this Bitcoin. You can trade it for a local currency doing XYZ. I can teach you how. And I can start paying in this. Or you can keep it and not transfer it. And people will take it. Again, next door, we used to ask them all the time, some of the restaurants and businesses around here about Bitcoin. And literally about 2 or 3 weeks ago, the next door gas station finally got a Bitcoin ATM and a brand new, very nice Bitcoin ATM. So all you gotta do is keep asking businesses. I'm telling you, a merchant wants to accept money that they deem valuable. If you can show them how to bring in Bitcoin and turn it into cash, or the value of just keeping it in Bitcoin or wherever other crypto, then they will do it. No one's going to turn down money or anything considered value, people. So stop listening to central banks. I don't know why they're even talking. They don't have ultimate authority on the way private citizens handle their affairs, especially a government. But that also goes to show you how deep the state of corruption is right now when we are letting central banks and central bankers who are regular citizens with jobs, you know, they're basically the people who jumped on the Bitcoin exchange early back then as far as, you know, when it comes to fiat currency. That's all a bank is. If you think I'm lying, then why are banks in the United States now telling exchanges they need to have a banking license? How quick did that change? They're telling exchanges in the U.S. eventually they're going to need to get a banking license. So that's going to essentially turn an exchange into a bank, a U.S. bank. That is what it's going to do. That is all these central bankers are, people. Years ago when all this stuff was started, and they started bringing up banking and lending and X, Y, and Z, it's the same way the exchanges are building it, a very similar model. They were just, you know, first movers advantage then. They built something. It's been built up for the last, you know, 100 years now. They incorporated government. You know, they tiptoe and they go back and forth between government positions and working at some of these banks and capital institutions, which is why when you hear a central bank make the rules, it's going for the whole nation. It's because it's deep corruption. But it's almost comical to me. It's a decentralized exchange, can't come any faster. I know, Antonio. It's almost comical to me, though, because you literally have central banks and government saying, you know, Bitcoin's illegal, it's prohibited, it's not a real currency, it's a commodity, they say all this stuff. But then they're saying, we do understand that digital currency is the wave of the future. We are planning to get on that wave, but we're gonna unroll our own. It's like, no, that's the point. But Bitcoin Zay says all the time, he says they're gonna eat themselves. And he's right, and it's one of those things they don't even see what's coming. Because it's not even what's coming. It's already done, people. A lot of people have already bought Bitcoin. You talk about the Winklevoss twins who say they own like 1% of Bitcoin or something. I believe, because I think they put like $1 million back in 2011 or something. But when you start talking about, you know, people like that own a lot of Bitcoin, the transition of wealth has already happened, which is why they're trying to do the SegWit 2X. So they can pull some of that money right back over to institutional and, you know, the good old boys club. But like technically the war has been won long term. You know, the people who are set up right now are already set up with their Bitcoins. You can still increase it, you can still buy it, but there's a lot of people already in position to where Bitcoin does explode. That transfer of wealth is going to happen. It's already technically happened. At this point, we're just waiting. Again, and one of the things that go back to Antonio, who said something about, you know, will it reach 7K before the end of the year? The only thing I also say with that is, and I've been saying this for the last few weeks, expect one more concerted effort to drive the price of Bitcoin down or to get rid of it entirely. And you know, that concerted effort might be in the form of SegWit 2X, honestly. But I've been saying it's going to be one more strong push from like literally all the government institutions and central banks. There's going to be one more concerted push where they're going to try to drive the price down. They're going to spread FUD. They're going to try to get people out of it. I mean, you know, you talk about in Venezuela, they're arresting people. They're throwing people in jail. In other countries, you know, you go to jail or even worse. So expect that one more moment where people are going to freak out and be like, why is the price down? You know, I don't know how low it can go now because we have hit that new ceiling at 6,300. You said somebody was like, I missed some of that comment. But yeah, expect one more. Let me see if I can see these comments over here, people. Hold on one second. What else? There was another big one. Oh, South Korea. So South Korean Central Bank, again, another central bank. This is too funny. South Korean Central Bank, Bank of Korea Governor Lee Ju-yo has announced that Bitcoin will be regulated as a commodity rather than as a currency. The governor, however, claimed that the central bank will not be launching the regulation very soon. All right. Now that, you know what, while I don't agree, especially you just heard my spiel about central banks. Here we go. I'm trying to get on these comments, people. There we go. I hear the echo. Okay. You know, while I definitely don't agree with central banks, South Korea has been, you know, as much as a sanctuary country as anyone else, or actually better than most as of recent, you know. So I'm not going to hammer them too hard. And what I will say is I think South Korea is basically taking the approach of we're, you know, wait and see. They're saying they will regulate it as a commodity right now, but they're also like wait and see, buy themselves some time. And I agree with that. I already said I think a lot of regulation stuff is about to slow down and pump the brakes, especially after the it depends on what happens with SegWit. Now, don't get me wrong, SegWit miraculously does wonders and is doing well. then I guarantee the United States government will push regulation ASAP. However, when it doesn't do that well, which it won't, you might make that few thousand bucks, whatever, but I don't think it's going to overtake Bitcoin dominance. But once that happens, like I said, that's happening what, November 11th to 16th. Once that happens, people, after that, a week later, a week and a half later, in the United States, it's Thanksgiving holiday. After Thanksgiving, government workers come back for a week or so. I'm telling you, nothing gets done. I am telling you this from experience, people. Nothing gets done because people are about to go on winter holiday. They're taking leave. They're taking vacation. After winter holiday, they come back. We have Christmas holiday. After Christmas holiday, if they come back, some people only come back a day or two just to check emails. Then we have the New Year's. After the New Year's, once again, I'm telling you, it's going to be this slow build up the first couple weeks of January, and then we have Martin Luther King Day weekend. That's another 3-dayer, 4-dayer actually for a lot of government places. So don't expect the United States government regulations to kick back in until toward the end of January, especially February. Now watch in February, they're going to be revving up with a lot of stuff. So make your money now, people. Let's see. Looking at these comments. Oh, and with that, I'm going to end on this. Politician Ron Paul. Pardon me. Of course, we all love Ron Paul because he is a crypto enthusiast as well as him and his son. They accepted for donations for their political party and all that good stuff. But Ron Paul said the U.S. government should stay out of Bitcoin. Again, this is a U.S. politician saying U.S. government should stay out of Bitcoin. And I wholeheartedly agree with him. He said people want to use it, the government should stay out of it. I mean, it's point blank and simple. I agree. At this point in time, there isn't a reason for the government to be in it. And almost, I won't lie. I think the United States kind of sees that as well because toward the beginning of this year, they started coming out with a little bit of regulations here and there. By the middle of this year, after we saw that March pump, they definitely tried to unroll regulations. There was a big pushback, which, I don't think we give enough credit to a lot of the people in Silicon Valley and fintech industry, some of the CEOs, some of the developers and all that. The pushback on the government was astounding this year. I know the ULC made something in San Diego where they have this, basically they have how they want all the states to operate within the crypto community. And it's actually pretty good. I read through it. It's decent. They sent it up for review and approval. And of course, that takes time. We haven't heard anything back. So we probably won't hear anything back, like I said, until next year. But I'm with Ron Paul. It's like, just stay out of it right now. There's no need. It's stifling innovations. You see what's happening in China where they're trying to get rid of exchanges and all that. And what happened next? Everybody went over to Japan, South Korea. So same thing here in the United States. I don't think we're going to do it. I think we're doing a good job of holding the government at bay right now. And of course, that's because, they got their bags from other places. But I think that should continue at least until the end of next year. I think by the end of next year, it might be time to, possibly look into it. But let's see how we do ourselves as far as self-regulating. Call it the scams where you see them. And, it's enough money here for everybody, people. Everybody eats. For the free Bitcoin today. For the free Bitcoin, in quotes, you see, I'm late, an hour difference. What's going on, Sumitri? For the free Bitcoin today, I want, in quotes, put what place you think would be the biggest or the best sanctuary country for Bitcoin and why. What's the one place if you where's the one place if you wanted to move to right now or next year or so that will cater to Bitcoin? What will they do and why? Again, in quotes after the video, because it won't save to these comments. After the video in the comment section, in quotes, put the best country to live for Bitcoin and why, and then your public address. And then we'll look at those and we'll give that to the winner tomorrow. Again, today's winner was Camel Hen. We'll send that to you. And I think his name was I think it was Roger from last week. Whoever won, I believe it was Friday, either Thursday, or excuse me, whoever won Thursday, your public address didn't work, so you need to resend one. Other than that, people, happy Monday, all-time highs. We have a new floor. I think the floor will probably be at like anywhere from 54 to 5,700. Can't embed video on website. What do you mean you can't embed the video? What does that mean? Ballin'. Yeah, so happy Monday, Bitcoiners. Like I said, we're coming off a great weekend. We do normally know Monday's slow and and a lot of red signals, which we have today from the alts. But Bitcoin's pumping. Let's see what happens by the end of this week. I'm looking forward to continuing to go up. I think we'll get up to about 65 to 6,600 before before the end of before segment. I'm reading these comments, lose my mind. But yeah, I had to close the video for it to go to the encoder though. Thanks for watching, everybody. You all have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.